Okay, so let's kind of pick up where we had left off. We've been looking at this idea of supply and demand, and we had brought supply and demand together. And we saw a whole bunch of different things were occurring here. Right? We had our quantity, we had our price, we had demand, we had supply. And for us, we were looking at, I think it was jeans, we had a price of say 50 and a quantity of 60, right? So we had this equilibrium price of 50, we had this equilibrium quantity of 60. And what we said was that there was a whole bunch of things that were occurring at this point in equilibrium. Number one, we saw that quantity demanded was equal to quantity supplied. In other words, there was no surplus, and surpluses make prices fall. There was no shortage. Shortages make prices rise, right? So there's no reason for price to fall. There's no reason for price to rise, right? That's not going to be true at any other point. Every other point, any other price other than 50 will give you either a surplus or a shortage, which means price wants to rise or wants to fall. Only at this one price does price not want to do anything. He wants to stay there. We saw that the sum of consumer surplus and producer surplus was maximized. All right? Bless you. And we saw that that was this area right here, right? So here was our consumer surplus, right? This area above price but below the demand curve. Here was our producer surplus, this area below price but above the supply curve, right? No other price maximizes the sum of consumer and producer surplus, right? Any other quantity, if we go this way, there's consumer and producer surplus that we miss out on. If we go this way, we've got this consumer and producer surplus, but we also have, in essence, this loss here, which makes them be smaller. We also saw that at this point, price was equal to marginal cost, right? Remember, the height of the supply curve tells us marginal cost. The height of the demand curve tells us, in essence, how much people are willing to pay. In essence, what's going on here is that marginal benefits, that's essentially the marginal utility, is equal to the marginal cost. Right? Remember, that was one of the things that we looked at on those like 7 important things we wanted to remember. So what we see happening here is the price the consumers are willing to pay for the next unit is exactly equal to what it costs to produce the next unit. So what we want to do today is we want to look at what happens when we have changes in these guys. So let's start off with the change in demand, because that's the easiest one to conceptualize. So first thing before we do anything, we draw our initial equilibrium conditions, right? So we have a price here of say 50. We have a quantity here of say 60, okay? And let's look at what happens with an increase in demand. What might cause the demand for jeans to go up?
Cold weather.
Cold weather. So we have a change in taste and preferences. Right? So we have taste and preferences. Okay? So if we have an increase in demand, how's demand going to shift? To the right or to the left?
Right.
He's going to shift to the right. That's correct. Right? So we have this change in demand here. Now, there's a couple different ways that we can look at this. At a price of 50, how many pairs of jeans do firms want to make?
80.
60. There's nothing that has changed the fundamental amount of jeans that firms want to make. How many pairs of jeans do people want to buy? 80. So what we have at this price of 50, people now want to buy 80 pairs of jeans. Firms only want to make 60 pairs of jeans at a price of 50. Why do they only want to make 60? Why not make 80? The cost hasn't changed. There's nothing that's changed how much it costs to make jeans. And if I'm only getting $50, I'm only going to make 60 jeans. So, surplus or shortage? Too many or not enough? Not enough, right? We got a shortage. Here's how many pairs of jeans people want to buy. Here's how many pairs of jeans firms want to make. We've got a shortage here of 20 pairs of jeans, say, per week. Consumers bid up the price amongst themselves, and as they bid up the price amongst themselves, this shortage gets smaller and smaller and smaller until we get to this guy here. Bless you. 70 and let's say 55. Right? So we have a new equilibrium price of 55. We have a new equilibrium quantity of 70. The alternative way to look at this is this, bless you. The 60th pair of jeans cost how much to make? How much does the 60th pair of jeans cost to make? $50. That's nothing has changed. How much are people willing to pay now for the 60th pair of jeans? More than 50, right? Whatever that number is. This is some number, whatever. I'm just making up a number here, 80. So the 60th pair of jeans cost $50 to make. I know people are willing to pay $80 for it now because there's been this change in demand. Make more jeans, right? So whichever way you want, whichever way you conceptualize this helps you. Looking at this, hey, there's a surplus or there's a shortage, or hey, there's a difference in how much people are willing to pay for this stuff now, right? Okay. Increase in demand. Let's look at a decrease in demand. So first thing before we do anything, we draw our initial equilibrium conditions. So we've got our initial conditions here at 50 and 60. Here we're looking at a decrease in demand other than a change in taste and preferences. And someone other than the person who has already said the taste and preferences change in demand. What might cause the demand for jeans to go down? And what's your name again? Lou Ray. So somebody other than Lou Ray and something other than a change in taste and preferences, what would cause the demand for jeans to go down? Income. Who said that? Okay. And you are? Madison. Okay. So here we have a change in income. Income going down, assuming jeans are normal good. All right, so we have this decrease in income. So, shift to the left or shift to the right? Shift to the left, all right? Okay. At a price of 50, how many pairs of jeans do firms want to make? 60. At a price of 50, how many pairs of jeans do people want to buy? 30 sounds good. Too many or not enough? Too many, all right? We have a surplus of jeans. At the end of the week, firms are making 60 pairs of jeans because there's nothing that has changed, the fundamental amount of pairs of jeans that firms want to make when they're getting $50. People now want to buy 30 pairs of jeans. We have a surplus. Surpluses do what to prices? Drive them down. All right? So we have producers competing amongst themselves, and we get this new price quantity combination here of, say, 45 and 45. All right? So we have a new equilibrium price of 45. We have a new equilibrium quantity of 45. Okay. Alternatively, you could say the 60th pair of jeans cost how much to make? $50. And how much are people willing to pay for the 50th or for the 60th pair of jeans now? Yeah, less than 45, 20 bucks, whatever the number is. So you have something that's costing $50 to make, people are only willing to pay $20 for it. Doesn't make sense to make that guy make a whole lot less. Let's look at changes in supply. First thing we do, before we do anything, we draw our initial equilibrium conditions, right? So now we're looking at an increase in supply. Other than Luray and Madison, what might cause the supply of jeans to go up?
Lower cost of producing jeans.
Very good. So we see a decrease in resource prices, right? Labor costs go down, or there's a bumper crop for cotton, or something. So we see a decrease in resource prices. And what's your name again?
Jeff.
Jeff. Okay. So we have this increase in supply because we have seen a decrease in resource prices. How is our supply curve going to shift? To the right. Very good. He does not shift down, all right? It's always left, right. It's never up, down. At a price of 50, how many pairs of jeans do people want to buy? $60. At a price of 50, how many pairs of jeans do firms want to make now? Very good. So we see here at this price, we've got something like this, right? There's been nothing that's changed the fundamental relationship between price and the amount that people want to purchase. So at a price of 50, they still want to only buy 60 pairs of jeans. But at a price of 50, I can now afford to make 70 pairs of jeans, right? Because the fundamental relationships between what it takes to make jeans, those cost structures have changed. So at the end of the day, too many or not enough? Surplus or shortage? Surplus. Surplus is drive prices down. So we see price falling here. I'll just use 45. We'll say 65, right? So we have a new equilibrium price, 45. New equilibrium quantity of 65. Okay. Let's look at a decrease in supply. Alternatively, on this guy over here, the 50th pair of jeans cost how much, or how much are people willing to pay for the 60th pair of jeans? 50, that guy hadn't changed. How much does the 60th pair of jeans cost to make now? Yeah, 40 bucks, right? So people are willing to pay $50 for something that only costs us $40 to make. Makes sense to make more. There's 10 bucks of profit just sitting there on the table. All we got to do is go make something and we can grab it. Okay, let's look at this guy right here. Here we're looking at a decrease in supply. Other than LaRue, Madison, and Jeff, and other than a change in resource prices, what might cause the supply of jeans to go down? Taxes. Very good. Taxes do what? Go up or down? Very good. So you start taxing jeans for some reason. Shift to the left or shift to the right? Shift to the left. Which curves shift up and down in supply and demand curves? None. They never shift up or down. They're always shifting left or right. So we have at a price of 50, how many pairs of jeans do people want to buy? And how many pairs of jeans do firms want to make at a price of 50? Somebody said 40. That sounds good. I heard that. Too many or not enough? Surplus or shortage? Shortage. Shortages drive prices up, right? So we'll have a new equilibrium price here of say 55 and say 55, right? Alternatively, how much are people willing to pay for the 60th pair of jeans? 50. How much does the 60th pair of jeans now cost to make? $60, right? Whatever the number is. Right? Can you guys see that? People are only willing to pay $50 for this thing that's costing $60. Don't make it. It's not worth it. Do something else. People stop making jeans. Clear? Let's assume you got a job working for Wrangler, wherever you buy your jeans from. I don't know. Polo. Banana Republic. And they have good jeans. I think these are Banana. I don't know who these are. They're Banana or Polo. So, your boss comes in and says, look, we need to know how many jeans to make for next year, right? Because like the coats that you guys are buying right now for the fall, you know those guys were made like in March and April, right? So they have this production run. They got to make a whole bunch of coats, tag them, all that stuff, ship them to stores, right? In other words, you have to predict 6-7 months in advance what sales are going to be, right? If you predict too much, say sales are going to be 2 million coats, and they make 2 million coats, and it's a warm winter, and they only sell 500,000, you're stuck with 1.5 million coats, right? That ain't good, because you have to sit there and store them all through the whole nother year, which has all of those costs associated with sticking them in a warehouse. What happens if the warehouse catches on fire and it burns down? You've lost everything. Can't sell them for anything now. You've got the insurance on that. You've got all those storage costs, and you got the cost of what happens if maybe this thing's not even in style next year. You predict 2 million coats, and 3 million want to be purchased. That's bad too, right? That ain't good either, because that means you missed out on being able to make 1 million coats. So, your boss comes to you and says, look, you know what? We know that it's going to be a cold winter in winter 2017, 2018. And at the exact same time, we know that these firms are going to start taxing jeans. We need to know how many jeans do we make and what price do we start charging for them. So there's your job. Your job is to predict this, right? And so you know that you're looking at this increase in demand, all right, because it's going to be a cold winter. That's what the Farmer's Almanac said, or whatever. Your Aunt Gladys's rheumatism or arthritis or whatever says it's going to be a cold winter. and you know that you have this decrease in supply. You know that both of these things are going to be occurring. So what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to predict what the price and quantity is going to be. So let's look at this. So we have this increase in demand. Shift left or shift right? Shift right. And we're going to have this decrease in supply. Shift left or shift right? Shift left. So your boss comes to you and says, okay, what's going to happen? You went to college. So what do you tell him? Okay. And what about for our production run? Stays the same. Okay? Now, this is a decrease in supply, right? Bless you. Is that also a decrease in supply? Okay. What happened? Because we already saw this, right? Quantity, the same. Right? Okay. What do we see happening here? Right? Is he correct? Quantity's increasing, price going up. Hey, increase the production run or put on the second shift or whatever. Okay. Is that a decrease in supply? Yes. What happens now? Very good. Increase in demand, right? I'll just do this changes in red too. Is that a decrease or is that an increase in demand? Yes. What happens now? What happens now? Which is it? All of those were this, an increase in demand and a decrease in supply. Did quantity stay the same? Did it go up? Did it go down? What rule did we violate? Ceteris paribus. You can only look at one thing changing at a time. If you do not know how much demand is going to go up or how much of the decrease in supply you're going to have, you cannot know both price and quantity. You can know one or the other, but you can't know both. right? Because if you don't know the size of these shifts, if you just know that they're going up or that they're going down, you can't know what's going to happen. The only thing that we can know for sure is that what? Price goes up. Price goes up in every single one of these guys, right? The increase in demand, you're seeing price increase. The decrease in supply, we're seeing price increase, right? But here, the decrease in supply makes quantity go down. Here, the increase in demand makes quantity go up. So unless we know the size of these shifts, which oftentimes we don't know, we just know they're going up or that they're going down, we can't know for sure what's going to happen to both of these guys. So your boss comes to you and says, okay, what is it? And you can say, well, I'm pretty sure the price of jeans is going to go up. I just don't know if we should increase or decrease the production run or keep the production run the same, right? And that's all that you can do unless you know, like I said, the actual size of these shifts. If you don't know the actual size of the shifts, then you don't know what to say. What I typically do is I draw the shifts the same. And whichever guy comes out to be the same as what he was before has to be the guy I don't know. Right? So this guy right here, it looks like, oh, price is going up and quantity staying the same. But quantity isn't actually staying the same. Quantity is the guy I don't know. All right? To see that that's true, let's do the increase in demand and increase in supply. All right, first thing before we do anything, we draw our initial equilibrium conditions, right? So we got 60 and 50. And now we're going to do, what did we say? An increase in demand and increase in supply, right? So we have demand increasing. Like I said, draw the shifts the same, quote unquote. Whichever guy comes out to be equal to what he was before has to be the guy you don't know. So make this guy can be any number, 70. Oh, look, he's equal to what the old price was. Therefore, I can't know what happens to price. Price can go up or price can go down, right? And you can see that here. I mean, here you were seeing price go up, or strike that. Here you're seeing price go up and you're seeing quantity go up. Here we're seeing price go up, or no, wait, here we're seeing price go down and we're seeing quantity go up. Right? So quantity is going up no matter what. Both of these effects are increasing quantity. One of the effects makes price go down. One of the effects makes price go up. Therefore, price has to be the guy I don't know. I don't know what's happening to him. Right? Stuff changes all the time, right? Very rare, only one thing is changing at a time. Questions on changes in supply and demand? Okay. That's going to end our Unit 1 material, so if you want to write however you designate stuff into Unit 1 stuff, everything after we discuss that will now be Unit 2 stuff. Okay? We got a quiz. There's no way I can get other material covered in the 5 to 10 minutes that it would take to give you time to take the quiz, so we'll just take the quiz early. Or you can have till 8:50 to take the quiz if you want to. It's completely up to you. So we'll get out a little early today, basically. In other words, I don't want to start a new topic, talk for 5 minutes, and then quit. Don't forget, we got a homework due on Wednesday. tests on Monday.